scroll. Are you scrolling on your phone constantly? So, if you're scrolling on your phone constantly, did you know that that can actually increase your anxiety? And it can also worsen depression. Just scrolling on your phone. Is that so crazy? Okay, I'm putting mine down so that we can show up together for this webinar. So, welcome. We're going to give it a few minutes as we let people come in and join this free webinar for my Well Nourished Life Tribe. So, thank you all so much for being in the Well Nourished Life group. And I have so much planned for this group coming up in the next month or two, especially as we move into the new year, which I will give you my big speech, which I normally do those talks in public, in person. This is public, right? In person, where I talk about setting goals for the new year and how January is the worst time to be setting New Year's goals. Oh, thank you, Emily. Thank you for being here. So, yes, I'm trying to offer you all a webinar at least once a week now. This is one of my goals, to give you some education and really support you all in this group. I also have just killing some time while we let people get on. I also am lining up some speakers to come in and do webinars with me on their specific hot topics. So there's going to be someone that's going to come in and talk about boundaries. Another person's going to be talking about motivation for fitness. We've got some that are more spiritual. We've got some that are like really big into weight loss. So there's going to be a lot of different speakers that I'm lining up. I also have a lot of friends that are healers that are going to talk about self-care and how we can nourish ourselves and keep our self-care up as well. So things to come, things to be excited about. But today's webinar is about anxiety and gaining focus. So if you have anxiety and you want to gain focus, this is for you. If you feel like you procrastinate a lot, this is for you. So if you need more focus in life. Now, a lot of time, hey, Stacy. So a lot of times we are just like, I just can't focus on anything. First and foremost, the first thing I want to talk about is, have you, we're not going to do this in this video, but this is something to put on the to-do list. Have you gone through and really listed out what your core values are in life? Do you have your like core mission statement of what you feel like your purpose is in life? Most of us don't, so don't feel guilty if you have not. Most of us don't. And so, do you have this daydream that you have in your mind? Okay? This daydream that you have in your mind of something, of a life you want, of something you want, and you keep hanging on to it, but at the same time you don't know how to make it happen. If you have something like that, then we need to talk, first of all, because this is a big, big key in finding your anchor, finding your focus, so that that will drive everything you do, and everything comes back to that. So everything comes back to this core. Okay? Now, that is one big thing. That's not the only thing, though, right? That's not the only thing. So we're going to be talking about how we can use movement, how we can use breath, how we can be preventative in our anxiety, as well as some things that we can do once the anxiety hits or we feel it coming on. Because a lot of us can kind of feel it. We're like, oh, I'm getting jumbled. So my experience, I have gained more anxiety, definitely with COVID, but I was getting it a lot more right before COVID. I've had some anxiety, but it was very minor, where I would just feel that the heartbeat starts to rush and we feel a little frantic and we feel like we've got all this energy inside of us and it needs to explode. Now, some of us already know, like, I need to go exercise, I need to move, I need to do something. But what about for those who anxiety becomes crippling? So there's different layers, there's different spectrum of anxiety, just as there is in depression. And our next webinar will be on depression. So with anxiety, I have had 2 different anxiety attacks. And if you've had some anxiety attacks, I would love whether you want to post them in the comments, because this is a closed private group, or if you want to DM me. I would love to know what your experiences are and how that affects you, because I can speak to it more without speaking your name if you want to DM me. But I've had where I've been sitting in my chair, just a lot of stress happens, and suddenly the breathing starts feeling restricted, and I can't talk, and I can barely move, and it feels like my body has shut down. My mind is wide awake, but my body just shut down. And then I also had one time, this was last December. I wasn't aware of all the quiet stress that was building up, and I was feeling a little tense, and I was just feeling a little off, and I didn't really register it too much, and I went to go take a shower to calm myself down, or just to relax in that sense. Yes, Emily, it can be very paralyzing. And so I was in the shower, and suddenly I started feeling all of this angst, right? Angst, anxiety. And I just started crying, and I didn't even know why. And then suddenly, like, I just felt my whole body locking up, and I slowly lowered myself into the bathroom shower tub, and my whole body was shaking, and I couldn't move. And I was yelling for help. And thankfully, I had someone that could come help me. This is where, and I won't say her name out loud, if you have a smart speaker at home, those can be really handy for those who have paralyzing anxiety, where you can maybe yell. In that circumstance, I was able to yell, but before, I wasn't able to. So there can be different levels of anxiety. A lot of people end up going to the hospital, the ER, because they're having an anxiety attack and they think they're having a heart attack, or something else is coming on. So I really like to educate on anxiety, because it feels like something's really wrong with me. And then when you get to the ER, and let me know if you've had this experience, I know a couple of people in the group have, is you get to the ER and they treat you like it's no big deal. Like, oh, they're almost like laughing at you. Like, it's just all in your head. It's just an anxiety attack. And it's like, this feels real. This feels very real. This does not feel like an anxiety attack. Because our culture has so labeled anxiety attacks as something really minimal, that it is just all in our head. But I don't think a lot of people realize how real it really attacks your body. Okay, so this is where I want to talk today about anxiety is a problem of the mind, and it is. But I want to address it from a different, subtle energy, yoga, holistic mindset. We are in the upper chakras. Now, this can happen because we don't want to feel the physical emotions of pain, disappointment, right? Not feeling enough. Maybe we don't like our bodies. Maybe there's something going on where something in our childhood normally, and I'm going deep, has made us feel like we will never be good enough. And we'll often procrastinate, we won't find the focus, and because we just don't have an anchor in life. And anxiety is this, and we're all in the future, and this disconnected feeling, right? So it's kind of like this hot air balloon, and we don't have the sandbags to pull us back down. And this is why it's so important for people that are experiencing anxiety, depression, any type of mood disorder. And that does not mean there's anything wrong with you. That does not mean that you are broken. You're not. You are whole. You are just out of balance, out of alignment. That's it. Okay? And so as we can bring ourselves back into alignment and back into balance, you'll feel whole. But often it's our lifestyle and where we're allowing ourselves to be scattered. We feel scattered, which makes us feel fragmented, which makes us feel broken, which makes us not feel whole. And if we're fragmented and scattered, of course we're not going to feel focused. Okay, so if you're thinking about this thing over here and you're thinking about that thing over there, and you just feel like a foggy mind, for one, that could be your diet, right? All this that's going on could be your diet. It could be that there's a lot of toxins stuck in your intestines and it's creating this fogginess. So that's one thing that it could be. And if you think that might be it, please let me know, because I can hit you up on that. Two, it could be that you are multitasking. Are you multitasking too much? Are you thinking about a million things to the point where it's keeping you up at night? Okay? So it could be that you're also multitasking. And there's another video that I did before this one all about the multitasking. So calming down that. Okay? But again, also is, what are your values? What is it that you really want in life? Because often we have this multi-tiered to-do list, but we haven't put a priority on which one is which. We feel like life is too short and we have to do it all at one time. So there's a lot of feelings involved in it. Okay? But I'll push that aside and let's move into the body portion, because that's what we're really here for, right? So in the body, again, if we're in these upper chakras all the time, then the solution is to get into the lower chakras. So often when we're feeling anxiety, we are also not feeling the passion, the richness, the earthiness. We often maybe don't feel like having sex. Is that part of your problem? Like, you don't feel like doing those things. You don't feel like being in your body, but you need to be. And so to get into our body, first and foremost, one thing is people with anxiety do not feel like coming into stillness right away, right? No. We want to move. We want something that's also going to be stimulating. So if the mind is up here moving at this level, then we need to bring the body up here to meet that same level, and then we can start to slow them down together. The mind and the body is disconnected at this point when we're having anxiety, and so we need to bring them up to par. Now, a lot of people are like, I'm not going to go run. I don't want to do a heavy workout. That's okay. All right. So I'm going to show you some tools and techniques. Let's start with a breathing exercise, and we're also going to shake it out. So you can have a yoga mat if you need a yoga mat. You can also just, like, I normally am just on my rug, but I've got my yoga mat out for today. I occasionally get it out at home. All right. So let's start with a breathing exercise. This one, we are getting into our bodies. So this is a really fun one. If you have people around, it's going to look really silly and really funny. And I've taught it so many times it no longer embarrasses me. But the first few times it was quite unreal. So we're going to start with that dragon breath. So the mouth stays closed. And we're going to take puffs of exhales, just focusing on the exhale. We want to release. So focus on the exhale, puffing out through the nose, and it's going to be a quick breath, so it's going to be out, 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 out. Okay, mouth stays closed so we don't hyperventilate. We're going to go. Don't worry about the inhale, just the exhale. Exhale, 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 exhale. That's step one. Step two is we're going to get the arms flapping. Okay, so we're going to push the elbows down into the ribs. So we want to smack the ribs and then push forward at the same time. So it's going to be smack and push, smack and push. And so we're stimulating the ribs. Smack and push, smack and push, smack and push. And so go ahead and give that a try just by itself. All right, so we're stimulating the body. Good, so that's step two. Step three is going to be a stomp. Now, you don't have to do a stomp. You can also just do like this kind of like Oompa Loompa kind of thing going on, or you can get this more marching. I like the marching because it stimulates my feet. That's the number one I prefer. Okay? So go ahead and get that marching. You're stomping your feet. So I kind of say it's like a kid throwing a tantrum, right? Often when kids get anxiety, they get a lot of emotions. They have to have this outburst. And so we're creating an outburst that's safe for us. And it's something easy we can do. So let's go back to that breathing. So it's that exhale, exhale, exhale. Keep that exhale. Then we're going to add the arms. Now let's get the march. And then really get into it, really get into it. Keep it going, keep it going. Keep the mouth closed because we don't want to hyperventilate. If you start to get lightheaded, just sit down and do it. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. We're going to do this for another 30 seconds. Exhale, 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 exhale. Almost there. 15 more seconds. You can march this out. You can walk around the room if you wanted to. Hey, I'm the one on video doing this. And relax. Okay? So just stand there. I'm just sitting down so that you can see me a little bit better. As we move into the next one, you might feel it. Right? So we're going to move into 2 more. So the next one is going to be shaking it out, and feels really great. So we're just going to shake. Start with the right arm. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Left arm, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Like your rubber. Do you remember in school you have the pencils and you make it look like it was a rubber pencil? Shake it out, shake it out. Fingers, wrist, elbows, shoulders. Ladies, shake the chest along with it. It's good. This is great for the lymphatic system, which is releasing toxins, getting the hormones rolling through the body. We want that. We don't want them stuck. Shaking the chest. See if you can shake your booty. Maybe you shake your head. See if you can get it all shaking at the same time, which is really hard, surprisingly. Shaking your legs. Shake, 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 shake. Let yourself go crazy. Shake, 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 shake. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. And relax. All right. So we're getting ourselves worked up. Really, we're not having to do a whole lot, right? We're just releasing. Now we can start to calm it down, let ourselves recover a little bit. And this is often what we do at the beginning of a yoga class. It's just that inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Start to make this more like a dance. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. And this can be your own variety. Maybe you want to bend the knees and swoop towards the ground. The big thing here is we're connecting the mind and body so that the movement is going with the breath. And as we're warming up the body, take a big exhale. And so here, depending on your back, you might just let the hands down. You might take a big, let it go. Inhale, pick up all the worries, the shit. Release it out, let it go. Inhale up. Exhale, let it go. Inhale up. Exhale, let it go. One more time. Good. And so here you can see we're really focusing on letting this all out. Often we feel tense with anxiety. The body starts to lock up. It becomes, like Emily said, paralyzing. And so we really want to try to loosen it out. Dancing is a fantastic way of healing anxiety as well, and I can hook you up. But one of my girlfriends just is starting a dancing program, dancing classes for healing, and so that one's really great as well. If you've been to any of my rhythm and release yoga classes, that is also extremely healing. And so we're going to do a little mini version of that next. Again, you can have a yoga mat or not. Depends on what you're looking for. Let's see, making sure I'm not missing any comments. All right, so we're starting at the top of the mat. Inhale, reach up. Bring the hands into prayer, slide them down, and go ahead and start to rock those hips side to side. Rock the hips side to side. Start to turn those toes out. And so we're working into those lower chakras here. So I'm bending my knees, I'm swooshing side to side, I'm letting my hips get lower and lower. So what I'm going to refrain from doing is any really stagnant yoga. I really want this movement so it feels like it's dancing. I feel like I'm releasing, and then I'm going to bring it down. And even here, we've got more of this somatic, more rhythmic. Allow yourself to even put on some like drum music, tribal music, some loud music, and really let yourself let it out. So a lot of these big exhales. And then I'm going to bring my hands down, step one, foot back, step the other, drop the knees lower down, exhale. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, lower. Take your hands out wide, and then we're going to look under the armpit, and then come back on. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Inhale, up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, up. And then keep going. You might start to lift one foot towards the side that you're twisting. Now, I've also done it the other way where I've done the opposite, and that's fine as well. While we're here, while we're doing this, noticing my shirt that says coffee. I need coffee, right? Coffee is only going to stimulate the anxiety. So will sugar. So if you want to do the detox with us, releasing all of that, let me know. I'll mention it again afterwards. And then bring yourself back to center. Press the hands back next to the chest. Push into the knees. Lift through the back of the heart. And then settle into this child's pose. And we're going to pump through this child's pose. So we're inhaling. Push into the floor. Lift up. Exhale. Release. So pumping yourself up and down. Notice, find the breath in your body. Notice what you're feeling. So go ahead, stay there. And just keep moving. Maybe you want to take this into a stretch and a stretch. Notice what you're needing and move into that. Bring the hands back in. Bring yourself into a tabletop. And this is where we'll take that cat-cow, that inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So keep moving through this cat and this cow. And just have one movement be your inhale, one movement be your exhale. So what happens is you might experience a lot of tension in the spine and the back especially. And this is one reason that anxiety locks our body up, is because anxiety is coming from the mind and traveling down through the spine, through that nervous system. But how we heal is the heart actually communicates to the mind 9 to 1. So 9 times more than the mind speaks to the spine. So what we really need to do, and this is what I mentioned first at the beginning, is really getting really clear on what our values, our daydreams, what our passions and heartfelt actions and desires should be, because that will speak to the mind far more than the mind speaks to the body. Therefore, we can gain control 9 times more than what anxiety can control over us. All right, release yourself, bring yourself back down to seated, and we're just going to take the legs out, and we're doing this pumping again. So we're going to inhale up, exhale down. Now, if you're here and you need to place a blanket or a bolster or a pillow, something underneath your knees, because maybe this is a lot on your hamstrings, that's perfectly fine. I actually prefer doing the seated fold and pumping through this before doing the down dog, because I find like so many people are so tight that it's hard to work through that down dog. So you can even do things that you would do in down dog here and just playing. And what I really urge you is every day, and if this sounds like homework, then man, we've got some talking to do, because being in your body, spending time with yourself, playing on your yoga mat, finding something that you find enjoyable, being with yourself, building your self-relationship should not be a to-do list item. It should be a goal. joyful. It should be something that you look forward to. So being able to get your yoga mat out for 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes a day, and just playing, doing little things like this. Let's take our arms open, and if it feels better to bring your feet in and crisscross, you can be there. Inhale, open. Exhale, crunch and reach. Inhale. Exhale, crunch and reach. Inhale. So we want to pull that yoga mat out. And for me, I know like when I'm in those states of life where anxiety feels a little bit closer to the surface, just sitting in meditation doesn't work for me. What works for me is a lot of movement. It's doing the movement, doing the yoga, and then sitting in the meditation afterwards is what works better for me. And I find myself, if I try to sit in meditation, I'm fidgety, right? We just feel like we can't sit still. There's too much to do. And so we need to bring ourselves into stillness. All right, go ahead and let yourself release. You can play around with this a little bit more, some of these more movements. All right, let yourself release. Notice where you're feeling tension. And this is really important because this is part of getting into your body. Notice what's going on with the pressure on the floor. Where do you feel your bottom? Where do you feel your feet? Do you feel like you want to roll over? Do you feel like you want to sit up? Maybe there's an emotion to be like, I'm done, I'm out of this. Are you even paying attention, right? Some of us might not be participating. Some of us might be on the phone scrolling. You know, Facebook now has where you can make the image come down and you can keep scrolling while you're listening and watching to videos. So notice that level of multitasking. Notice if you're thinking about something else or doing something else. How can you focus on one thing at a time? Release yourself back out of this. Swing the feet around. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Push your chest towards your feet and wiggle, shake it out. Soften the elbows, bend the knees. Your heels do not have to touch the floor. Give yourself some wiggles and some shakes, and then we're going to lift both heels at the same time and drop. Lift and drop. And see if you can do that fast. So this is where, if you've seen those booty yoga, they're stimulating the lymphatic system. It's shaky, it's funny. Go with it, and then walk your feet forward. Let yourself release, shake it out, and we're going to roll ourselves up. You can bend the knees if you need to, stack it. And this is where we get more playful. So we're going to step our right foot back. Let's go into our warrior two. We're not going to go through a full yoga class today, but I really want to show you a lot of tools that you can be utilizing at home. So that front knee over the ankle, and we're in our warrior two, so we would be here in alignment, so shoulders over hips. And then let's take some little like hula hoop spirals, which actually if you were to hula hoop, it's just front and back. But we're going to take some little like circles, like we're belly dancing, and then spiral it in the other direction too. Good, and then we're going to turn to the side, toes out, heels in. I think, Emily, I think you've done this one with me before. We're going to take our fists out, our fingertips are down. We're going to rotate, so it's kind of like a karate move. Pull it in, and we're going to do a big, okay? See if you can sink down even lower. See if you can sink even lower. And then see if you can get even more vocal. You can be like a, Keep it going. See if you can sink even lower. And then release. Bring yourself up. Heel toe it in. Bring yourself to the front of the mat. We're going to do the other side. Left leg or opposite as you did last time. Step it back. Warrior two. Open it up. And then hip circles. Let's go. And breathe. Check in with that front knee. We're releasing. So when I was talking in the beginning, that energy coming in, that energy going out, maybe you reverse your circle. Because often with anxiety, we've got too much coming in. Too much coming in. Or maybe you've got too much going out. Too much going out. So it's important for you to recognize, is it that you're pouring out all of your energy and you need nourishment? Or is it that you're bringing so much in and you're not letting it out? And then turn to the side, toes out, heels in. And then this time we're going to do that inhale up. And then pull the elbows down, big. Inhale up. Exhale. Big exhale. We're working on that Muladhara, that root chakra that's also red. And so bring it down, let yourself settle. You can heel toe it in, and we're slowly working into that Malasana squat. Now here, try to keep your feet flat. We want the feet flat on the floor. So your bottom can be up as high as you need it to be. Mine drops lower, so that's just where I'm at. And in yoga, we have our, I'm going to come closer to you, we have our code of ethics, and one of them is not stealing. And not stealing also refers to not stealing someone else's pose. Not trying to do your pose just like the person next to you or your teacher. You take your version. We don't want to steal theirs because it's not for you. My postures are for my body, and your postures are for your body. And this is where we also come back to taking imperfect action. So if you find yourself as a procrastinator with all of the anxiety, to take the imperfect action, because that's normally where we land, isn't it? We find ourselves procrastinating until we get to such a timeline that we have to take imperfect action. And so what if we just take the imperfect action in the beginning and we say, I'm giving myself love and compassion, and just taking some action gets it off my plate. Because often we have far too much on our plate, and it's like we put the donuts and the cake and the shrimp and the salad, and it's all sitting there, and we're thinking, I can't eat all that. How am I supposed to eat all of that? You don't have to eat it all, and you don't have to eat it all now. You can take little bites and pieces. You can put it in a to-go box. You can savor it. You can throw away what you don't want. You get to choose. And so that's where I say there's a book called The 12-Week Year, and I can walk you through that as well. And it's talking about to make this master to-do list, this huge to-do list of all the things, and then prioritize them. And this is what I do in my program. Prioritize them, and then break them down. And I don't know if he goes into all that in the book, but to break them down into what you can do in 12 weeks and get it done. All right, so see how your hips are feeling. We're going to come out of this nice and slow. So we're going to reach behind us, or you might just kind of fall over to the side. You don't have to be so graceful. Notice where you're at. Notice how you're feeling. So we're going to come into seated. I find often people with anxiety who are having too much coming in, they really have a really hard time laying down and doing Savasana. Now, if you have too much going out and you're really, really needing that healing and nourishment, you might need more Savasana. So it's really important to notice that. And we're going to notice that right now with our breath. So as we breathe, you can look down at the floor. You can just kind of zone out. You can close your eyes, whatever it might be. Just let your hands rest and see if you can release the shoulders. Maybe you've got a lot of tension, and you might notice that by squeeze and release. Notice how much you can squeeze and release. And then we're going to come into our breath. So just feel your inhale. Feel your exhale. And you can place one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, or you can let them rest. Notice the inhale. Notice the exhale. So first we observe. To find peace, we must practice it. We have to train our mind to find the stillness. We cannot expect it just to go, okay, I need to focus, and expect it to do it. We have to train it, just like you would train a puppy, you would train a child, you would create a new habit. It takes focus, it takes practice. So we want to first practice awareness. Finding that awareness of what your breath currently feels like. Notice, is your energy pulled upward towards the ceiling, or are you letting yourself feel heavy? So if you're feeling pulled upward, like you're trying to avoid the floor, see if you can let yourself fall heavy into the floor. And as you fall heavy, what happens to your posture? What happens to your breath? If you roll your shoulders back and open your ribs, how can you breathe? What awareness do you find? See if you can tune into any tension that's in the face, tension in the neck, soften through the shoulders and down the spine. And come back to that breathing, and let's count our breath. So as you inhale, see how big your inhale can go. You feel that little pause at the end. Feel how easy or difficult that pause is. And then exhale. And as you start to exhale, notice how long you can exhale. Try to count at the same rate that you were counting before. And then as you pause at the end of that exhale, notice how that feels. Let's do that again. Notice your inhale. How big can you inhale? How long can you exhale? Is it easy to bring it in? Is it easy to inhale? You might be taking in a whole lot. Taking in social media, news, taking in a lot of food for thought. And then as you exhale, how easy is it to exhale? Maybe you have a lot to exhale. It feels difficult. And so to get a hold of the mind, to get a hold of the body, we do that through the breath. So let's try to even this breath out. So we're going to inhale for 4, exhale for 4. And exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Transition to the inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. And yours might go like, I need to count a little faster. That's okay. And if you start to feel a little like, whew, like because they're out of alignment and you need to take a big breath and just reset, do that as much as you need to do. And so anytime we want to practice our breathing, which we should, for 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes, that's it. You're on social media for far longer than 5 minutes each day. But we need to do it at the same time every day as well. And we can train our mind, and I often find myself, I do this before I'm doing something I need to focus on. I bring myself back into alignment and back into balance right before I need focus. Often we don't give ourselves time to transition. We don't tell our mind, okay, we were doing that, now we're going to do this, because often we're trying to multitask and do everything at the same time, and we're fragmenting ourselves. Now that we've evened the breath at 4 and 4, maybe you'd like to up it to 6 and 6. And this is an exercise, so it might be a little challenging. You're conditioning yourself, just as if you were going to run a marathon or start powerlifting. You would need to go to the gym and have sessions to practice, to build up that strength and capacity. And so this is your mental gym, your energetic gym. Now, we won't continue, but if you were to do this on your own time, which hopefully you will, you can release that, shake it out. Notice if you had any tension. You could take that to an 8 count. You might take it to a 10 count. The more you can work on evening that breath, you're going to find yourself back into alignment. Now again, like I was saying, often we're trying to hop from one thing to the next thing, one thing to the next thing, or we're multitasking. And we need to practice doing one thing at a time. Now, does this all happen at the same time where you're like, yes, I'm in a time block, I'm going to do one thing at a time? No. And that's where the practice of meditation, the practice of the mind wanders and we bring it back to now. The mind wanders, we bring it back to now. We'll do that same practice as we're trying to focus. I'm trying to write a paper. Oh my gosh, I just thought I need to do that, I need to do this. Oh my gosh. Oh, and the mind's going, and right now I'm writing the paper. Right now I'm writing the paper. Right now I'm writing the paper. And if you need to, sit down and breathe. Now, I also mentioned about detoxing and the fact that this could be also something that's in your gut. So if you also find yourself, maybe when we were laying in the floor in Cobra, and maybe you feel some knots, or you feel like there's a lot of extra going on in the midsection, this is stress that we're holding on to. If you have a larger midsection, this is that you need more release. And that's often toxins are building up in your intestines as well. And this is one of the big factors that we touch on within the 10-day cleanse, which is not as scary as it sounds, but also in my new 4-month program, it's primarily around gaining more focus. It's primarily around releasing, letting go, and reprogramming our minds and our bodies so that we can be really clear about what we want in life, and so that when we do want something, we can easily go for it. We easily have that focus, and then we also come back into finding our fullness, our wholeness. So we're moving out of survival and scarcity and into love and abundance and feeling whole. That 4-month program, I do have 2 more spots because there's 2 people that have not fully signed up yet. I have 2 more spots left for beta testing. Okay, now you can get into it whether you want to beta test or not. However, I have 2 more spots for beta testing, which means you get this program that is on the pricey end because you get a lot of touch points. You get a lot, okay? So you're going to get weekly coaching calls, weekly, along with follow-up text throughout the week to make sure that you're on task. You're going to have videos, lectures, PDFs, meditations, recorded hypnosis, which if you haven't yet, my hypnotherapy sessions, which involve a recording of a hypnosis, but it's actual therapy session using hypnosis, are about $400 a piece. And so you're going to be getting a recorded hypnosis to listen to every month. Yeah. We're also going to address the weight loss, customized programs, energy movements. Oh gosh, am I forgetting anything else? There's so much we're doing. I'm giving you everything. Everything I got, I am giving you in this program for 4 months. And so if you want to get in on that beta testing and you really want to release all the toxins, and find yourself into a whole, pure, clean vessel that's really working on pulling yourself together and having the life of your dreams, moving out of this fragmented, frustrated, unfocused, and moving into focus, moving into clarity, moving into wholeness, finding peace, finding the healthy lifestyle that you need and crave. And in that, I'm really working on you developing your intrinsic motivation, so your internal motivation, so that it's not this, someone give me a motivational talk and inspire me, that it's so deep in you that it's welling out and pouring into your life. That's the goal. And so as things come up and I work with you all individually, if I find that you all need added resources, those get added to the program. This is why it's beta testing. So it allows me to plump the program up, tweak it any little bit, so you get to be my guinea pigs, but the energy exchange is that you have to show up fully. There is no, well, I'm tired or I'm backing out. It's, I'm showing up for you and I'm giving you all I got. And so I expect people that want to be beta testers, they have to be full in, because I need those big, juicy testimonials of befores and afters, and really just having you so excited about the transformation. And so that's what I'm needing from you. If you feel like you can also bring that, then let's chat, okay? Because one of the things that you will have to buy, and this is the only thing that you have to purchase to be in the beta test, is the whole food supplements. It's not that much, especially in comparison to what the program cost is. So the program cost right now, I have it at $3,500, and all you have to spend is about $100 a month. That's it. And that's on your whole food supplements that are going to help detox the gut, give you all the energy, the boosted immune system, getting rid of the brain fog, and being able to show up. That also lets me know that you have everything you need in order to really show up, okay? So, Beautiful. Oh my gosh, Emily, you said it's at two, a count of two. Yes, we do need to chat. And, I've found that too. Like when I was in some really high anxiety, mine was at a three. And I've been at a 10 before. So checking in with this daily also will let you know where you're at. But your ability to intake and output is extremely important. This is vital for our health. So even if you leave this webinar, whether you're watching a replay or live, the biggest takeaway I can tell you is breathe. Breathe. Practice breathing every day. You don't have to do some big fancy meditation by any means, but that respiratory system is vital for your health. That is what keeps us alive. You can be brain dead, body dead, whatever else. They're going to put you on a ventilator, right? The ventilator is what keeps people alive. And so let's practice that. Let's be our own very well operating ventilator for ourselves. And this is also what's allowing our mind and body to be fused together. I often say in my yoga classes, the breath is how we get the mind and body to communicate. We're in control of our breath. We have the ability to sit down and breathe. Therefore, you are not your mind, you are not your body. You are controlling your breath. You can tell your mind, think of an apple, think of a banana, and you can think of those. It's not the other way around. So we have to get the reins, and what I say is harness our energy. We need to, we've got some wild horses out in the range. We need to harness them and reel them in. You need to collect yourself and start really practicing. Oh, good. Your exhale was two times the length of your inhale. So exhale is really easy. So you really need to be working on drawing in nourishment. So that's where, I don't know if this is part of your practice. Are you reading some juicy like self-development? Are you nourishing yourself and allowing people to help take care of you? Are you allowing nourishment to come in? And so if exhale is really easy, then we might be expending ourselves a lot, and that's the really natural part for us. So does that feel true? Okay. And you might feel the other way around. Like maybe like you are expending yourself and you're giving yourself a lot to people, but maybe, we have a lot of self-development books that are coming into our heads, and maybe we need to express ourselves creatively. So it all depends on the person, but I find this to be fairly true with most people I work with, that this breath is a huge telltale for us to self-analyze. So it's a great tool to have in your toolbox. So today, let's summarize. Stop multitasking. For one thing at a time. Have a transition between, going through things. If you are doing something physical and then you need to sit down and focus, take a moment to close your eyes or look down at the floor and take some of those breaths. Take a breath assessment before transitioning. And you can use the power of thought, saying, okay, now I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing now. And I do this all the time with myself, all the time. Right now I'm working on this. I will get to that afterwards. Right now I'm working on this. And I have to remind myself. I have to be my own coach. And so that's one thing I want to teach you is how to be your own coach, how to set your own goals, how to gain the focus. And these are some powerful tools that you can start implementing without me as well. And then to also note to meet your body where your mind's at. And so we'll do this in the depression workshop as well. If your energy is really low, then start with low movement. If your energy is really high, where the mind is really high, and you're feeling frazzled, and you're feeling this fluttering, get the body up there with it, and then slowly bring it down. So often the mind's up here, and then we're trying to, have like, oh, well, just come sit down. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. And the same thing, which you might have noticed, like when you've got low motivation, you're feeling really low, and someone's like, oh, just go for a run, you're going to feel better. No, we need to start with some gentle movement and slowly work our way up. So you need to meet yourself where you're at, and that's where that self-compassion really comes into play too. So I hope this is extremely helpful. Also noticing like detoxing, as I mentioned. If you've got a foggy mind, if you feel like you just can't focus and it's not anxiety, it can also be anxiety because anxiety is largely tied to our gut and our microbiome and healthy digestive system. You could have up to 15 pounds of toxins sitting in your intestines. Is that crazy? You know, I talk about like losing some weight really fast, or say dropping some weight really fast, letting go of some weight really fast. It's just by cleaning out the intestines. And when we clean out the intestines, our body isn't focused so much on trying to deal with all of that toxin, escaping it and coming up into the head. Right? Makes sense? And we can't even get our head right because our body, all of the energy is going into the gut to say, oh my gosh, we got to get this out. Like intruder, get it out, get it out. And then we're not doing anything because instead what we're doing is we're eating the processed foods to try to make ourselves feel better. And sugar and all of these gunky foods that are really sticky and create more toxins in us, they provide us really great instant relief for our mind and give us some boosts of energy. And although coffee is really good stimulant, if you find yourself that the only time you can go to the bathroom is when you have coffee, that's also a sign that your intestines aren't working very well. In fact, but there are some coffee enemas you can do if you want to do coffee a really healthy way to flush yourself out. But also, if you're getting all the nutrition you need, if you're getting all of the nutrients, and I'm talking about micros and macros, often we're thinking about our macros and we're leaving out the micros. The micros are the oil in our car that gives us the energy to stop putting around. Like we're normally focused on our gas, which is the macros, which is like our carbs, our fat, and our protein. There's more to it than that. What about the oil and the transmission fluid and all of those things that normally, once those are depleted, is when we crash? Okay, so by putting in all of those micronutrients, our body is able to function at its best. And so our body will go, oh, I'm safe. I can release all of these toxins. I can release all of the added weight that is on me. And often we have a lot of this added weight on us as well. Or, it might be from craving foods. It might be from ignoring our self-care. It might be because we're ignoring our feelings and we just go to the food because we don't think we're worthy enough. We're not a priority. Is that what we think? When in fact, if we want to keep doing what we're doing, if we want to keep striving for this life that we want to live, we need the energy to do it. And we also need the vehicle. Our body is our vehicle in order to travel through this life. And I ask you, are you maintaining your actual vehicle, your car, better than you're maintaining your own body? If your body was represented by a car, whether you want to say a minivan, an SUV, or a sports car, whatever you want your car to be, are you taking care of it the way that you would take care of that? Do you have a bunch of junk in your car? Right? Are we taking it and getting its checkups? Are we getting the tires changed? Are we doing all of this stuff? Because if you're not maintaining this vehicle just as well as you would maintain your other vehicle, this one's going to start to break down. And we don't want this one to break down far faster than what this breaks down. And because I've worked at nursing homes and I've seen the people who, they feel trapped. They're trapped in their body because they're stuck with a broken down body that doesn't do what they want it to do. And I don't want you to be there. I don't want you to be there. And I've felt it with the anxiety when you're out of control. It's paralyzing. What if that around 60, 70 years old for another 20 years? What if you were stuck with that paralyzation? So it's far more than just anxiety. Anxiety is our body and our mind screaming to us that we're out of alignment and that we need to focus on ourselves. Anxiety is your body and your mind screaming out for help. Okay? And so this is your wake-up call. Every time you get the anxiety, it's your wake-up call to say, I need you to focus on alignment, bringing your body and your mind together, focusing on your values, focusing on stop multitasking, right? We shouldn't be texting and driving. So why are we trying to multitask on all this other things? How many times have you been multitasking in the car and you pass up your exit? And then it takes longer, right? And so we're doing the same thing with ourselves. By not taking care of ourselves, we're actually creating more problems that's taking up more time, and it's preventing us from having this life that we would love to have because we're so focused on the future. We're so focused on this external. But our internal and our external world are so closely related. The external world is a reflection of your internal world. And so if your external world is in chaos, is this in chaos? Is this being tended to? Okay? So if you're interested in being a beta tester for my 4-month program, I've got those 2 spots left. I've got some appointments scheduled on Monday, but if you get in and they all get signed up, I'll make a couple exceptions. I don't want to overstretch myself either, though. So that's where I'm really serious when I talk to people. Is this right for you? Is this right for me? So let's interview each other, so to speak, and see if it's a good fit. And I might say, I don't know if you're ready. And you might say, I'm not ready. Or you might say, you're ready, and let's do this. Because I'm here for you, regardless, either way. We can still have a chat. We can still say, okay, here's some healthy things I need you to do. And then if you do these, then let's do this. It might just be let's chat and let's just have a healthy chat. Or chat and catch up. All of those, any of those are perfectly fine, okay? I am doing these webinars because I really want to give you tools. It's not about whether you sign up to come work with me or not. It's not about that. I really want to bring some awareness. I want you to have some tools. I want you to be healthy. I want you to get some results, okay? My mission in life is to help people connect their mind and body together. I want people to move out of survival and scarcity mode because I've been there and I know how much it sucks. And I know how much I felt like there was no one out there to help me or give me answers. And I was searching, and I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on certifications and books and studying to try to figure out the answer. And it would be pointless if I just sat around waiting. And now what good would that do? I want you to be able to heal. I want you to be empowered to heal yourself. And so I always tell everyone, I'm like, feel free to message me. Feel free to say, hey, I'm having a problem. I need help with this. I don't know what to do. And I can say, well, like, here's a quick and easy fix. But if it's something that's going to take 6 hours for me to explain, obviously that's a whole other story. But I might say, here's a great blog on this. Here's a great YouTube video on that. Oh, hey, I did a meditation not too long ago on that. Here's the link. So I can help you out as much as I possibly can. Okay? Thank you all for joining me so much today. I'm like, I hit it on the nail, like right on time, 1 hour. So thank you. I'm going to upload this to YouTube so you can share the link to friends if you want to share the link to friends. You can also invite people into the group. Feel free to invite people into the Well Nourished group, and so they can watch these webinars as well. Again, I'll be posting another one, so our next one will be on depression and finding that motivation and getting ourselves moving. So if that is a problem that you're also suffering with, then get back in here and stay tuned. Again, invite friends. If you want to chat more, then send me a DM. We're probably friends. I know, Emily, we're friends. And feel free to friend request me if you're watching this on replay or anything of that sort. So I'm here for you for sure. And I hope you have a lovely Sunday. Bye. Bye, Emily. Thanks for attending live. Bye.